Welcome back to the Altitude LED YouTube channel. My name's Jake, and in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 2 screens we installed here at Shepherd of the Hills Lutheran Church here in Fort Collins, Colorado. Prior to installing this LED system, they were using one projector and one projection screen. It was very dim and very difficult for the members of this church to see any text or images on that projection screen. So they contacted us at Altitude LED and we designed this dual screen setup for them. Each screen is just about 8 feet wide by about 5 feet tall. That allows them to get very close to that 16:9 aspect ratio. The product we used for these screens are the Altitude Cloud panels with a 2.6 millimeter pixel pitch. Those panels come in half-meter increments. So this screen is 5 panels wide, which gets us to around 8 feet, and it's 3 panels tall, which is just under 5 feet. Prior to the installation of this screen, a local carpenter here at the church framed out this wood backing to the screen, and I really like aesthetically how it fits in with the shape of the wall here. They did a really great job preparing this screen for a really clean install. They opted to go for the Altitude Simplified install process. What that means is prior to the installation day, a local team here prepared the wood backing that we mounted the cabinets to for the LED screen, and they also made sure that the power and data cabling was run ahead of time so that when an Altitude LED install tech showed up, this was a very quick install, very easy to get up and running in less than 1 day. So we highly recommend the Altitude LED Simplified install for many churches out there, especially for a small or mid-size install. It can really save you a lot on the labor and installation costs. But if you'd like us to do a turnkey install for you, we can do that as well. Here's a closer look at the cloud panels. I love how thin the metal cabinet is on these panels, and they are all front serviceable. So if you have to replace a module or replace any components inside the panel, you can simply just pull off the modules from the front of the screen, and it's very simple to service. LED screens are an excellent choice for displaying content, even in a traditional worship style environment. Here at this Lutheran church, they do a lot of liturgical worship, meaning there's lots of readings that happen throughout the service. They're able to prepare all of the text for those readings where there's a pastoral call and a response from the congregation in software like ProPresenter, and then when it's displayed on the screens in here, it's very bright and crisp and easy for anybody to read from any point in the room. Of course, you want to make sure the font size on the text is large enough, but this is one of the benefits of LED screen technology is it has such a high dynamic range, meaning the bright portions of an image or text are very bright and clear, while the dark portions are black. So that contrast makes it very easy for someone to read. The other reason I really like using LED screens in a traditional worship space is I feel like it complements architecture of the room very well. And also when there's lots of ambient lighting in the room, like this one, you have beautiful stained glass in here, the ambient light from outside and the sunshine coming through the window is not detracting from the quality of content you can put on the screen. The LED screen, instead of having to reflect light from a projector, is actually projecting light itself. So that's why it's so much brighter. This screen is probably being run at 25 to 30%, so the brightness could actually be much higher than it is right now. But I like how when you look at the screen, you also don't see any glare. That's a common thing that I notice in a lot of TVs. Sometimes people might think it's a good idea to just use large flat screen TVs in an environment like this. It could be functional, but you're not gonna have nearly the same amount of brightness. And then also the glare that you get on the sheen of screens like that, it's not gonna look nearly as good as this. The LED panels that we have here have a nice matte finish to them, so there's really no glare. Even if you had some direct sunlight on it, it's not gonna reflect and look harsh, and the imagery is gonna look amazing. And what's cool is you could even put imagery up here like paintings. Maybe there's some classic sacred paintings you'd wanna put on your screen in a church like this that it would just look phenomenal. And people might think it's an actual real painting because it just looks so realistic the way it's displayed on the screen. And you could see behind me, this screen, we have a nice kind of abstract background with lots of color to it, but that white text really pops and it's very clear to read, even though it's not even a super bold text. It actually has that more kind of traditional font to it, that serif font that feels like I'm reading it from a hymnal or a Bible. Now I want to walk you through how the screens are controlled and how they are sending content to the screens. First, they're using a Windows PC that is running ProPresenter. ProPresenter is a very powerful presentation software. It's our top recommended software for churches. Makes it very easy to display any type of content or lyrics or sermon slides, announcement slides, videos. You can also play back audio from it. So here, they're able to prep their slides ahead of time, and ProPresenter is then going to generate all of that content that then gets sent to the LED processor. So from the computer, there's going to be an HDMI output, and then it's going to go into the HDMI input on the back of the Novastar processor. Then from that processor, we have some data cables that are going to the screens. Each of the screens are getting 2 Cat6 cables from the processor here in the media booth that go through the ceiling, behind the screens, in the walls, and they pop out right behind the screens, and you can't see it because, again, these screens are front serviceable. You could take the modules off. There's a little hole where the cabling and for data and power come in, and that's how we're able to send content to those screens. And we typically recommend that those circuits be controlled by a relay switch somewhere, so it's easy to power them on or off. One of the creative things they do here at this church is they utilize the LED screens for the children's sermon time, and this is when the children's come up during the service and are told like a Bible story by the pastor. And then if I click on the next slide here in ProPresenter, you'll actually see the camera feed gets pulled up onto the screen. So if I were to go and zoom in on this camera here, now you can see the screens are going to give a nice close perspective of the stage, and then people who are in the back of the room have eye magnification. They can see what is going on stage. And then once that's complete, they click the next slide, which changes the look in ProPresenter to go to the sermon slides. So I thought that was a very neat little integration tip, and it shows you the capability of having great screens that are not only great for content, but are also going to be great for live action video if you want to magnify what's happening. When you partner with Altitude LED, we're not simply just an installer, but we're a strategic partner wanting you to be able to maximize this technology in worship. So we can walk you through the design of your video system and how you're going to integrate it with software like ProPresenter, and we will guide you through the entire process, whether you want to do a fully DIY install yourself, or you'd like a simplified install with one of our reps, or if you don't want to touch anything and you want a full turnkey installation, we can do that for you too. It all depends on your goals and your budget. You can learn more about speccing out an LED system for your church by going to altitudeled.com, and you can get your quote today. Thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful, hit that thumbs up button, and we will see you next time.